Ryan, Gareth Edwards, the man who everyone thought was saving Disney Star Wars.
Well,
with Rogue One,
did, I guess.
He kept it off life support for a while. Science fiction guy. He's got the science fiction bona fides. Friday, new movie, big movie. Big. Maybe bigger hype-wise than Rogue One.
Well, we'll see. I mean, it obviously comes without the Star Wars banner on it.
Right.
So yeah, I think it's a big movie for a lot of different reasons. It's a big movie for him, and it's a big movie for 20th Century Studios.
Yep.
They could really do with a hit. And before we dive in, apparently this film cost around $80 million to make.
Is that it?
Yeah. And so
I feel like that's wrong, but I'll accept it. But I feel like it's wrong.
That was the whole thing. Is he basically said the way we make movies is wasteful, so let's make a movie that's on a tighter budget.
Right. Oh no, I'm not saying you couldn't make this movie on $80 million.
So anyway, I think it's a film that's important in that it might usher in some new expectations for how far $80 million can go.
Can go, much less $200 million. But the film in question is, of course, The Creator.
The Creator
with John David Washington. Not last seen, but recently seen in another big science fiction film, Tenet, from Christopher Nolan.
This one's better.
I'm not going to argue that because I can't. Where we go from there, we'll see. But I cannot argue that this is better, that this is not better than Tenet, because it clearly is better than Tenet. Gemma Chan and Madeline Yuna Voiles is the child that you see in all the advertisements. She is the child that you see in all the advertisements in this. This is this film is an extrapolation of a topic that's very big in Hollywood right now, and that would be artificial intelligence.
Yeah.
Except this one's not writing scripts.
No, and I don't. And it's funny because I don't. I in a vacuum, you could still make this movie. But it seems a little bit odd that we've got a strike going on. We've got one strike that's seemingly come to a close, but all over AI.
Yep. Well, not all over AI, but
no, that's not true. And streaming, and there's a lot of other stuff in there too. But one of the one issue that people can understand to a certain extent is that they don't want AI to come in and take away live actors and
script writers and
things like that. Anyway, but so we have a film that is a little timely in that manner, although the setup's quite different. It's more of the classic sci-fi setup where the creator creates the robot and then decides maybe that was a bad idea.
Yeah, but in this one, the creator, the Nirmata,
the main creator, yes,
the Nirmata is not convinced that they're upset. So this AI does think of this as your iRobot doesn't end as well as you think it does kind of scenario, in which in this one the an AI detonates a nuclear bomb in Los Angeles. So half the world decides that advanced AIs should not exist and wants to obliterate them, and the other half of the world says no, that's not the case. So we have these two worlds that we're dealing with. We have the ones that hate AI and ones that embrace AI.
Essentially, it's America versus
They
New
call it the
Asia.
West, but it's basically the United States driving that bus. And in Asia, yeah.
But it's New Asia. So whatever Asia you may know, this is not that Asia.
Right.
This is a different Asia.
No, it keeps them from getting in trouble politically. So,
Yeah.
So John David Washington plays a U.S. soldier who is trying to find the creator so that they can kill the creator so that no more advanced AIs can be developed. And then they can just hunt down the ones that exist. Because unlike other movies, by the way, AIs are independent things. There's not like Skynet that is just everywhere. So that's a little bit different approach in this film. So like every individual robot or synthetic is its own AI.
Yeah, and it's a little more complicated than that too. I mean, they are based on people in many cases.
Yeah.
And anyway, but and I think there's I think the politics of this film are very familiar in that it's a kind of an all or nothing mentality. There's no compromise. There's no in between. It's funny too because we learn it's a different kind of. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's familiar in this. Story wise, I mean, it's a very classic sci-fi story, really.
Yeah.
But they've done some different things with it that make it feel a bit different. I still think, yes, there's still some Blade Runner in there. I don't think you can make a futuristic city without, at least nodding to Blade Runner.
Yeah.
But they've also there's actually quite a bit of Apocalypse Now, which I was really amused by. I love seeing kind of the sci-fi take of the Vietnam War sort of thing. I thought that was really interesting. But yeah, this is your kind of your classic AI story, man versus machine. Only it's not all mankind versus machine.
No,
there's just some debate on what humanity should do with these things that they've created.
Yeah. So let's talk about this. We talked about some of the influence. The one thing I really like about this movie is the world. I think the world it's a sensory treat when you go in. It just looks great. It sounds great. Everything, the buildings are developed. The vehicles are interesting. The weapons are neat. I mean, the world that he has constructed here is just really, really fun.
And it's not like completely unrealistic.
No. No.
It's not. This is in the future, but not. I think it's. Around 2070 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
Anyway, but it's not ridiculously futuristic, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you've seen this, but apparently, this film comes in at just over 2 hours. 2 hours and I think 13 minutes.
13 minutes.
And apparently the original cut is 5 hours.
Oh my God.
And there's a part of me that really would like to see a 3.5, 4 hour cut, in the sense that I can guarantee you that a lot of what was taken out to kind of streamline this story was more atmosphere and was more of the kind of the mundane aspects of, this world. And I'm really interested in that stuff.
And I would be too, but for a slightly different reason than you. You're talking about the mundane stuff. And yeah, it would be great to see, more of the world. See, my problem is that I feel like he left in more of the world stuff than the character and narrative stuff that I wanted. Mm-hmm. I feel like I feel like these characters are just really shallow. The germ of the story, I said the ethical and practical implications of AI. That's a great hook and a great story, but I feel like everything around that, I wasn't happy. I don't hate it. I just feel like they were just kind of placeholders running us through this thing. You know what I mean? And so I was kind of bummed about that. I would like to see the long version so I get more character stuff.
Well, and that's part of it. But I do think it is fundamentally about a man's longing and search for redemption. There's the classic tropes there. And there's the end to me was a little soft. I think they could have made the ending a little more punchy. There are things that I probably would have done with it that Hollywood probably would have been like, you can't do that.
Right?
No, you can't do that.
Yes, you can.
Yes, I can, and I am. But I don't know. I mean, I like this film. I don't think it's quite there, but I think it's close, and I'm okay with a lot of the character stuff because kind of the circumstances of what's going on. Is it a little shallow? Yes, but I think you might be able to get a little more depth as you know, not just atmospheric, but if you expand the world a little bit and see the understand the situation on both sides, because you know what is life in America like? I don't know. What is life in New Age like? Well, I don't really know either.
No,
I have kind of a glimpse of both. There's some scenes that take place in Los Angeles that are really cool, as they're kind of out in the wreckage. But it doesn't, you know. But I want more of that stuff.
Well, like I said, and that's going to make me really care. Like I said, the characters almost didn't matter because I knew where we were going. You know, as soon as the dominoes started falling, you knew what was going to happen. Sure. But so if I don't care enough about the characters, then it doesn't really matter. That said, I do like this movie. I don't think I liked it as much as you. I think it's closer to really good for you than it is for me. It's good, not great. But hey, look, the performances that we have are hearing on the Visually Stunning Movie Podcast. Fine. Take a second to click subscribe. I mean, we have a robot little girl. Click follow wherever you're listening to us. We have flashbacks of Gemma Chan at VS Movie Podcast, a couple of them, and we have Facebook, John David Washington playing effectively his character podcast from that would be awesome for us. Tenet. We appreciate you listening. And now let's get back to the show. He knows what his goal is in this. But I still don't care enough for me to really care.
See, I don't think he does. I think it changes.
Well, when he starts, yeah. But then,
I think it evolves quite a bit.
Well, he gets what he wants, I guess, technically. But again, I knew where it was going. But you know, we're talking, you know, the films. This is obviously, you're right. You can't make a movie like this. This might be the most developed world since Blade Runner.
It might be, and that's, you know, and yeah, let's go play in the corners.
Yeah, and I think that's what I need. But you know, I walked in and my brain starts making. I mean, you do the same thing when you watch a movie. Your brain just starts making random associations. I mean, sure. Yeah. I mean, so we have. You know, I stopped. I made my brain shut off. You know, we had iRobot, which, I mean, that's an easy one. You know, Blade Runner is easy. A little Vin Diesel movie called Babylon AD.
Yeah, but much better.
But much better movie than that. But but much better movie than that. Let's be clear. I am not comparing Babylon AD to this. But my brain made those connections, and so I was just I didn't. I'm not wrong. It's just not a great movie.
There's After Yang, and there's there's, you know, if there's this is if you were to take a lot of just what are the ideas about robots and artificial intelligence and science fiction, if you took all of them and put them, on a board, said, okay, let's work in these various ideas about robots, whether that be Philip K. Dick or Asimov or who whatever it may be. Let's look at them all and kind of work them into something. So yeah, it's going to remind you of a ton of stuff.
And like I said, and it's not that, I mean, we know that happens, so it's not like I'm upset that these things are in there. It's just, I don't feel like the characters they gave me to show all that were good enough. And that's what bummed me out. That's me. Your mileage may vary.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I would just say that I think that there is a really good version of this movie, or a better version of this movie, that may run 3.5 hours. And that's so. Yeah, I mean, yes, the world of it is probably the most appealing aspect of it for me, and that's why I want more of that. I want to understand the situation. I want to live in. I don't want it to just be a simple America hates robots and New Asia doesn't. I want to kind of have a fundamental understanding of beyond just the incident,
right?
Because it's more than just the incident. I don't know. I dug what it was doing. I don't think it's necessarily a masterpiece, but I do like the way that it wears its influences. And again, you'll watch it and you'll catch some, and I probably missed quite a few as well.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, there's just a lot of it that I just really enjoyed.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't hate it. I like that. I'm probably at a 6 out of 10, which is 3 out of 5 stars. I mean, it's not a bad rating.
And I'm probably 4. I'm 4 there.
But I'll be interested to see if they put this out on physical media, what kind of cut we get. I would be interested in revisiting this.
Yes.
Depending on that.
That initial 5-hour cut, no one is saying that there should be a 5-hour version of this movie. What that just means is when they laid everything out on the table, so to speak,
right,
it was 5 hours. And then you go in and you say, okay, let's start trimming this. And I'm sure there was a certain amount of pressure to make a movie that was 2 hours or in thereabouts. Not everything can be an epic, and the fact of the matter is the longer your movie, the fewer times they can show it in a day.
Yep.
And that for some films is a real issue. I mean, if you can show it 8 times a day, or you can show it 4 times in a day, which do you think they would rather do?
If they know people want to see it, you want that 8 viewings a day. That's where the money is.
Yeah. So I'm interested in where this, and there are definitely similarities to Star Wars and sci-fi. I mean, there's all sorts of,
right.
There's some stormtrooper looking characters and things, but it's almost as if, how do we get away from that?
Yeah.
And can we? Well, I don't know that we can make science fiction that doesn't reference other science fiction or other films even.
Well, and then let's not forget in a couple months, we actually get the Star Wars movie that's not a Star Wars movie.
Yes.
Snyder's Rebel Moon.
Yeah.
Part 1. Which was a Star Wars movie. So that will be interesting to look at specifically through that lens. That's not, that the creator is influenced by all of these things. Rebel Moon was a Star Wars movie. It was intended to be a Star Wars movie. So looking at that film through that lens is going to be really interesting. Because you're not going to be able to help figuring out where they took out the Star Wars.
No, it's going to be pretty obvious.
Yeah. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. But in terms of the creator, like I said, I liked it. I didn't love it. And I don't know that I thought I was going to love it, but I think I was pretty sure I was going to like it more than I do. So but it is definitely better than Tenet. I want to say that this might be better than Rogue One, and I like Rogue One.
I don't know.
I waffled. It's tough because I just think because this is unbounded in a way that Rogue One wasn't.
Sure, but I can tell you it doesn't. I mean, I'm going to go to Donnie Yen or
right.
There's certain aspects, and I guess. It's weird because I wouldn't say Rogue One is the most spiritual of Star Wars films. I mean, there's other films that are definitely where the Jedi religion and everything is more center stage. But I think that for me, Rogue One does have more of a soulful sort of. Well,
and you know what? I'm gonna reevaluate that for a second. Rogue One is better because it gives me all the character development that I want here. Precisely because we know how that movie has to end.
Yeah.
So we have to care about those characters. So there's, they attempt and go through and really beat on those character moments in Rogue One, where I don't feel like I got that here. So I know he's capable. So I will be interested to see that 3-hour cut, that 3:15 cut.
If it exists, if it ever, it exists.
He's working on one, I'm sure. He's working on that long home release.
Hopefully. I don't know. I don't know if the market's changed too much for that. But I have no idea.
But for home, for physical release, I'll bet it's there. Okay. So I'll bet it's there. But yeah, so that's the creator, 20th Century Studios, Disney. This will be the second kind of big film for 20th Century in the last few weeks because we just had A Murder in Venice.
Yeah.
It's also 20th Century. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays. I think this one's going to do well. It's probably going to win the box office because I don't know what's left to beat it.
I hope it does. But I can also see this just kind of phasing. I mean, in the current strange, unpredictable,
right?
Hollywood.
In a typical world, this movie would win the box office this week.
Yes.
I don't know that we're yet back in a typical.
No, I don't know that we ever will be. I don't know that exists anymore.
Yeah.
It will be the new normal at some point, but the new normal will not be the old normal.
No.
No, but I just really dug the way that it did a lot of the stuff. So
yeah.
That's nice.
Like I said, I enjoyed lots of it. I'll tell people to see it. I have no problem telling them to see it at all. Like I said, it's a great world to just go into for 2 hours. And what you pull out of it, is what you pull out of it. So that is what we have on the creator, unfortunately. That is all we have. There are movies coming out. We have some got a Netflix film we might talk about. Ahsoka's getting ready to wind up. We'll be talking about that when it's done. Only one more episode of that now. We'll see how that goes. And yeah, it's we do have films that are coming and should be decent.
Yeah, and now that the writer's strike is over, and hopefully that signals, hope that the actors' side of things will get resolved.
Yeah.
But we're far enough into this that the impact is going to be felt for the next year at least.
Oh yeah.
If you thought the pandemic was bad for movies, well, wow, this might be worse.
Yeah, the difference between trying to work and not trying to work.
Yeah.
That's the difference. So there you go. That's the creator. Don't forget to like us, follow us on all the social media platforms. All the links are on the website, vsmoviepodcast.com. You know how all that works. We appreciate it. Let us know how we're doing. And until we talk again, I am Mark. That is Ryan. Bye, Ryan.
See you, friends.
We'll talk to y'all later.